Hey friends, welcome to another Thursday Talk where we talk about this journey from writing a book, having a book edited, and then eventually the publishing side of my first book, Unspoken Word, One Moment with Jesus Changes Everything. I think one of the things, I know, one of the things that I have loved about this process is my personal time with Jesus. It's been amazing. And so writing this book and trying to conceptualize how to write it down and how does it make sense and diving deeper into these stories in the Bible, for me, has been just one of the most beautiful things. I will forever cherish this time of writing this book and what I've been able to glean and the questions that have come to my mind because of this book and a desire to want to know more. If I'm gonna write this down, I want to know more. I want to know the depths. I want to know what's behind the story. I want to know what's behind this person that I've read about in the Bible and what are some of the things that maybe I've never known or understood or thought to ask. And so it's just been a beautiful time. I call this writing time a pouring in. I truly feel like as I've felt this call to write, and someone would say, like, how do you know you're called to write this book? All I can say is, for me, I'm a dreamer. I dream of lots of ideas. And some dreams will come and go, some dreams will come around, and then something else will start to happen and I'll move on to that and I won't finish the other one. And that's not to say it's flighty or flaky, but I dream constantly all the time. I will dream of how to make something creative and how to tell a story. And so what I will say with this, and this is just for me and my personal experience, how do I know I'm supposed to move forward? Because honestly, there are days I need to remember that. There are hard days writing a book. We can talk about that on another Thursday. There are hard days. There are days it feels lonely. There are days it feels wonderful. It's a range of emotions. It's a life moment, and it takes a long time, longer than we usually want it to take. And so how do I know to keep going? There's not a day that goes by that I'm not thinking about this. There's not a day that goes by that I don't feel a heavy weight, and I mean that in a good way. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I feel a burden to get this message out. There's not a day that goes by that I can pass by and be like, I don't know, maybe not, maybe something else. Once the process started and continued, there have been times I've had to take moments of pause because another project there's a deadline that is current and right there. And so there was the time in October where I had several events that I was working on, and I needed to give those the dedication they needed, and I took about a month break from the book, and I will say it felt like I was missing a friend, like a dear friend I missed, because and every day I thought about this book, and every day it's not that I ever forgot it. And that easily could have been a moment where I thought, you know what, no one's saying I have to write this. No person is saying I have to write this. And so, I don't know, it'd be easy to just stop because there's a lot of work to still do. But there was not a day that went by that I didn't think about it. There's not a day where I didn't miss it, and that continues. And so for me, that has been a different thing and there have been other dreams were similar, like now's the time, it has to happen. And so anyways, that's my story. But back to the writing process and the pouring in. This has been the most wonderful time of what I feel like God is pouring into my heart and mind as questions get led and as I'm diving into these stories. And that's the thing. I think sometimes we think, okay, I need to read this chapter of the Bible today and I'm gonna check it off because I read it and that's great. And we should always go to scripture, read scripture. But there was something different for me in this moment, in the fact that to write a chapter, and each chapter is based off of these people in the Bible who encountered Jesus physically and what that moment was like. And it would be a day, and then another day, and then a week in the same small amount of scripture. And then maybe I'd move on to the next one and do the same thing, spend a few days or a week or whatever. But then I would go back to these characters. It wouldn't be like that was the end. It would then be a going back. And then there were times where I felt like, I want to know. I remember one day, one of the characters in there is the Roman centurion who has a servant who is ill, and he asks for Jesus to heal. And I just heal his servant. And I remember thinking, well, what brought him to that moment? What brought this Roman centurion to ask this Jewish teacher to heal his servant? That's a big leap. And so there was that question, and that question led to seeking an answer. And that answer, I remember the day that happened, I yelled from the other room, John, did you know this? And I'm going to save it for the book. I don't want to give everything away, but did you know this? The question led to trying to find an answer as just why was this happening? And so I could go on and on and on, and but this time has just been really special. And then now being in the editing process, it is so important to surround yourself with people who can speak into a project, speak into our lives. I firmly believe in mentors. I firmly believe in having people in our lives who will encourage us along the way, who will also throw up guardrails along the way if they see a track that is unhealthy or not right. And so one of my firm things, while this book is artistic, and it really easily could have just stayed in artistic. In fact, if we had stayed just there, the book would be done. But that's not what I felt called to. I felt called to, if someone's gonna pick up this book, maybe this moment brings to life those few verses in a new way, not in a different way, in a new way, because there's an artistic element to it. But also understanding the depths of the story. Why does this matter that this happened at this time? Why does this matter that this person asked for healing? Why does it matter? What was happening in that moment? What was the setting? What are the details? What are the surrounding characters? And honestly, that's as I started writing, I went, oh my goodness, this is really my theatrical journey that I feel like God is prepared for this exact moment. There's a performance side with the art, the dramatic interpretations, but then I stepped into directing, and that's been more part of my life than performing, I would say at this point. And as a director, you've got to know the nitty-gritty and the details all around. And then suddenly God brought into my life writing, and never would I have ever thought that writing was something I would love and cherish and want. And as a writer, you have to know details even more. And so that's what this writing time for me has been. It's been this mix of artistry, but then seeking the answers and the depth. If I were writing this story, if I were writing this play, I would need to know all of the details. And what that means is, for me, these stories have come to life in such a tangible and beautiful way. These stories of these encounters with Jesus have changed my life so deeply. I am so grateful. And so my hope is that this is truly, as I feel like God has poured in during this time, and there still is that. I was talking about having people in our lives. My editor, Drew, and editor and coach, who he's wonderful. Every time I get on a call, I'm gonna be honest, I get nervous because I'm afraid. It's very vulnerable, but I know his voice, and his voice is gentle and kind. And what has happened is this beautiful talk of theology and diving in together into the depths of what is theologically happening. And he is teaching me so much along the way, and it's been so wonderful. And it is so important, because artistry is not all that matters. In fact, as an artist, yes, that is so important, but I do not want to sacrifice accuracy for artistry. And so together we have been diving into details of these stories, spending time talking, and it has been some of the most rich, wonderful conversations that are hopefully going to be displayed in the book. And my hope is that as people read, as readers read, as maybe someone gives this book to a friend, as this book finds its way into the hands of each reader, my hope is that through the stories, through the artistry, through the accuracy of the accounts in Scripture, that these moments will equal personally for each reader. One moment with Jesus changes everything, that there is growth, that there is depth. And I'm just so excited. And so I also wanted to share, I live in a world of song often. If you've talked with me, you've probably heard me say, I feel like I live in a musical, and oftentimes there are songs and tunes going on in my head. And so I thought I would share some of the songs that have popped up in times of writing this book. And so I remember it was towards the end, I was almost done. This would be December of 2023. And we were in the mountains, and John and I and some family, and I found a little nook that I could write, and that's where I thought I finished the book. In my mind it was finished, but then another chapter came. But I remember being one early morning in this little writer's nook, and a song popped into my head, and an old worship song, and I just thought I'd share it with you. This song really speaks the desire of my heart and the desire of writing this book. And it goes, in the secret, in the quiet place, in the stillness you are there. In the secret, in the quiet hour I wait only for you, 'cause I want to know you more. I want to know you. I want to hear your voice. I want to know you more. I want to touch you. I want to see your face. I want to know you more. I am reaching for the highest goal, that I might receive the prize. Pressing onward, pushing every hindrance aside, out of my way, 'cause I want to know you more. I want to know you. I want to hear your voice. I want to know you more. I want to touch you. I want to see your face. I want to know you more. So I give that song, maybe that's a reminder of an old song for you. Maybe you've never heard that song before, but honestly, that is the cry of my heart, is to know God more. And as I search and get to know him in a deeper way in writing this book. I hope that opens an invitation or gives an invitation and opens a door for every single reader to go through the same experience. And whether you've been a Christian forever or whether this book was given to you and you've never heard about Jesus before, my hope is that this book is a chance for each and every one of us to get to know him more. So have a great day. There's just my little update. Tune in next week for some more.